What's up, y'all? It's Clyde with Cosmic Mojo. Today we're here to do a deck review on the Dan Corrigan Designed by flight deck. On the website it says pro model. Many people think of Dan as a pro already in his own right. He doesn't claim to be pro, but whatever the case is, I got the board and I'm stoked to skate it. I think this was one of the first ones, that were available. As soon as they became available, I caught it just in the nick of time. I've had it hanging next to my night in my house for a few months now, kind of like adding to like the medieval vibe, which is pretty cool. But we're going to talk about a few things. I'm here to skate it, so I haven't skated it yet. By the end of the video, you're going to have my full review. If you haven't saw my first video, the Ultimate Powell Peralta Flight Deck Review Part 1, definitely go check that out. It's on my channel. In that video, I kind of break down everything about flight decks, how their construction and technology works, where their strength comes from, what their perks are, why they're what they are, and what they are. So if you haven't seen that video, go check that out. We're gonna start just with the graphic. Apparently Dan's kind of a chess nerd, so he has a bishop and a knight, which apparently are the same amount of points on the chessboard, but they do different things, but their worth is the same. It's kind of a play on the fact that it's a twin tail, but in this case they're not identical twins. So being that they're not identical twins, it's kind of like the knight and the bishop, the fact that they're the same but they're not the same. And so I guess Dan, he's interested in religion, so he put the crosses on the bishop, and he has a wooden sword, which is kind of like a crucifix, and then the knight has an actual sword. So the thing about the crosses for me, I almost wanted to skate it upside down because it is a twin tail. Because as a Christian skateboarder, I didn't want the crosses to be upside down when I was skating. I felt like that would kind of mess with me. So I had it on my wall hanging this way. I kind of like the lighter color at the top. But as I looked at the shape, it would have felt off, If I ride like a 80s shape or one of the older shapes, the older Powell decks from like the 80s, they have wider tails, but they almost have like no nose. I just couldn't see myself riding it this way. So I didn't skate it for a while because of that, because I didn't want to skate it upside down. So what I realized, actually, before I stepped foot on it today, I seen this thing about, I think it's St. Peter, the guy who got hung upside down because he said he wasn't worthy to get hung like Jesus got hung, because they crucified him for professing his faith in Christ, and so they hung him, and he demanded to be hung upside down because he didn't think he was worthy of being hung like Christ was hung. So that's how I look at it now. So that's kind of what made me okay with riding it with the cross upside down. And I will be using the board a lot backwards anyway, because it is a twin tail and the shape has its perks for riding it each way. Now that we talked about the graphic, I'm going to show you guys a little closer before I destroy it. Got the Spitfire grip. Now we're going to talk about the shape. I spent the money on this flight deck because I wanted to support Dan. Not necessarily because I was crazy about the shape, but I'm definitely getting more excited to skate the shape once I actually put the trucks on and stood on it. I think I'm really gonna like this shape. It's an 8.42, which is almost an 8.5, but it's a little under, so that when you ride it with 8.5 trucks, or in my case Thunder 149s are 8.5 inches, they stick out a little bit. And what that's called is a boxcar setup, so your wheels kind of stick out just a teeny bit on the sides of your board. So this board would be, meant to be rode with 8.5 trucks to get the full experience of why he designed it this way. I don't necessarily see them sticking out at all. Maybe a little bit. The nose is like an extra fat nose. It's really stubby looking. It almost looks like a thumb. If you did use it for the tail, being that it is a twin, an unidentical twin, you could, and I guess you'd get a lot of pop off the tail, and it would be a straight pop. A narrower board might, when you pop it, it might go over here or over there. So if you have problems with like tricks like big spins, this board might be the way to go. It's going to help you a lot to use this as the tail for those tricks, and it's also not going to bother you when the tail is your nose, because it feels like a nose. I wouldn't notice anything different about this if that was my nose. The only thing that is kind of different when using that as the nose is how big the tail is. Tricks like hard flips, I feel like and tray flips even, I really need the narrower tail for it to kind of hit the side and work how it works. Now, this board is a K26 concave, which is the updated version of the K20 concave. I wouldn't even say it's the same version, but it's definitely an updated concave type that they came out with after I did the last Powell Peralta Ultimate Flight Deck review. This concave is actually a little steeper, I think. So Dan's skateboard is the K26 concave and his own custom shape. I like the K26 concave a lot. I've actually skated like 3 flight decks since I made that first video. I love them. I kind of bounce back and forth between VXs and flight decks. I really only skate these boards that are special technology to make them stronger, because they don't lose pop. They're more reliable if you're jumping down something or jumping off something or jumping on something even. It's good to have that pop that just doesn't go anywhere. It's always going to be there. I put some rails on here, some pig rails. So yeah, I'm at Bethune Skate Park today. I'm gonna skate, as many things as possible. I think we're gonna start off on some rail tricks and see how it works. All right, so I skated the board at Bethune yesterday. I have nothing but good things to say about it. It handled really good. Kick flips were really easy on it because of how big the nose is. My foot just like found the nose and the back popped up right to my back foot. Heel flips felt really good. Tray flips were like really rotatey, just like they said they would be when using it this way. But also what I found is like big spin tricks using the nose rotated super flat. They didn't flip over like they were going to do laser flips or big spin flips. So if I'm going to do big spin tricks, I'm probably going to use the nose. The tail would probably work good for big spin stuff as well, but definitely the nose. If you want a clean big spin that's not going to flip over on you, the nose works perfect for that. It's a flight deck, so it's obviously strong. I didn't skate any big drops with it. As far as durability, we know what to expect. What else? As far as the boxcar setup being easier to pinch grinds and locks like crooks, I know crook is one thing that he mentioned it being easier to pinch because of. I didn't really notice a difference, mainly because my crooks are kind of my most dialed trick anyway, so I don't really have a problem pinching that. But I did realize front feebles felt pretty good, and that's like a similar pinch. You're kind of, the more board you have to hang over on that edge, the better. So it definitely helped with that. That's going to be about it. I like the board 10 out of 10. I'm not going to call this my favorite board because there's still many skateboards to be skated. So you might want to try it yourself. We're going to stick it out with this board and see how it goes. And if I like it, I'll probably order another one. So yeah, I'm Clyde with Cosmic Mojo.